Morning. Oh, my computer froze just then, but I think it's back up and running. Hello to everyone who's joining. You can maybe pop in the chat who's here. It's nice to see who's joining, other than just a number on the screen. But yeah, I hope we're all well. We'll get started in just a minute, so take your time getting ready. Maybe grab a drink, get comfy, get your notebook ready for the written stuff. Yeah, hope everyone's good. We're going to focus on, I'll run through the class plan first, and then I'll tell you our kind of theme for today. So as usual, we're going to do a bit of breath work to begin with a little massage, and we'll do some written tasks, and then we'll do a bit of meditation, and we'll reflect at the end. So for the kind of theme today, I think what inspired me to pick this was how the weather's been a bit mental recently. Morning, Awa. It's very different to how the weather was this time last year and even the time the year before, and just how the planet is constantly changing. And yeah, just to give a little bit of kindness back to the planet is what I want to focus on today. That's a huge topic, but I'll go into more detail about it as we go on. But yeah, just while people are, morning Lee, as people are coming in, I'll just get started on, we're going to do a little hand massage to start. So I'm going to show you I'm going to offer what we can do together, or you're more than welcome to do your own thing if you're more experienced. But we're going to take one of our hands and we'll use the other one just to give it a little massage. So I'll do it a bit closer to camera. So use the thumb of the opposite hand, and we're just going to do some circles around the thumb, the big thumb muscle here. So just kind of circling, and going right to the side can feel quite nice. And finding what areas maybe you need to hold it. You're like, okay, that's a bit tension. I'm going to put an extra bit of pressure there. Nice and tight. And then we're just going to let that circle gradually get bigger and bigger and go into the whole palm. So circling the entire palm, really getting right in there. Maybe spending a little bit of time in the center. And then we're going to move towards the outside of the hand. So we're just going to work up and down. This bit I find it useful to use my fingers on the other side, just as like a grip. And this little lump here, this kind of ridge, I really like to get in there. So our hands can get really, really tight, especially if we're writing a lot, or if we're on our phones a lot, or our computers a lot. If they're doing quite repetitive movement and we don't give them a little bit of love, they can get very tight, which I'm sure we're all doing. So we're going to use our fingertips, and we're just going to pull down here. So just pulling almost down from each finger. It's not a huge movement, this one. Just kind of releasing any sort of tension that comes in this joint and the knuckles. Then I'm going to swivel and pull. Maybe just giving it a rub or anything else you need, or a squeeze. And I'm going to hold both hands out and just notice how maybe one feels in comparison to the other. So maybe this one feels quite warm, or it's maybe mine feels a bit flat, like it feels quite stretched compared to this one. It feels a bit more kind of curled up almost. Kind of noticing the difference. And move on. So we'll go to the other hand. So again, starting with the thumb, really working this big thumb muscle. Oh, this gets really tight. Our hands do so much for us. And yeah, we don't often give them the attention or the break that they deserve. And sometimes we can get cramp in our hands, which could be so painful if you've had that before. And we'll just make the circle gradually bigger. And taking it out into the whole hand. Maybe stopping in the center for a bit. And then coming to this outer edge. So working up and down. Again, maybe going more from the wrist and up if that feels good. Maybe focusing on the sides. Nice. And then we'll use our fingertips and just pull down from the fingers into the palms. So just pulling that bit of the knuckle, kind of, it's almost like the inner elbow. Is this pad here. Now we'll swivel and pull each finger and the thumb. And just give the hand a bit of a squeeze. Anything else it might need. Maybe you can rub them together, move them around. Or maybe crack if that feels nice. And we'll just let the hands go. If we are sitting cross-legged, or if our legs are in front of us, or sitting, wherever you are, trying to have your palms facing up. I think when we have our palms facing down, quite often we can put tension into the shoulders or the chest, whereas with the palms facing up, we're less likely to grip from the hands, which will then go into the arms and the shoulders. So if we have the palms facing up, it's a bit more open. We can actually feel the work that we've done. So wherever you are, if you just want to close your eyes, if that's available to you, or you can just lower the gaze and kind of drop the focus a bit. So you're going a little bit more internal. I want you to just take a second just to notice how you're feeling before we start. Just notice if you're maybe had quite a relaxed morning, or maybe it was a bit stressful, or maybe anything's on your mind from yesterday. Just kind of noticing where you're at before we begin. Lovely. And then noticing how your body's feeling. I know we've just given some attention and awareness to our hands, but is there any other parts of the body that maybe you need to give a little bit of attention to? So maybe you feel like you're hunched forward. Maybe you could sit a little bit higher. You could roll your shoulders back. Maybe your neck's feeling a bit sore. Maybe you could give that a little stretch. Yeah, just noticing. Maybe you might feel tension in your hips. Maybe you could move your legs to find a more comfortable place to be. Or if your pelvis is feeling a bit painful, you could sit on a cushion. Anything like that, bringing a little bit more awareness to where our body's at, how it's feeling, and just giving it what it needs this morning before we begin. Great. And then moving more internally, just focusing on the breath. You might not have noticed your breath this morning or given it much attention. So just noticing at first, try not to change too much. Just seeing where it's at. And then gradually just breathing a bit deeper and deeper. In and out of the nose. And maybe by doing this, you might notice different parts of the body and how they're feeling. Maybe tightness in the ribs or relaxation in the belly. Lovely. And we're going to take a really big inhale through the nose. And we're going to forcefully exhale through the mouth. So really blowing something away, getting rid of any stress or any tension with that exhale. So really, like, you want to actually hear yourself releasing air through your mouth. So inhaling through the nose really deeply. Exhaling. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Lovely. Blinking your eyes open, maybe rolling the shoulders out, maybe doing the neck, a few circles. And we're going to come to our pen and paper. Grab a drink if you need a drink at this point as well. Lovely. Okay. So as I was saying at the beginning, if you were here, I've kind of been inspired by the weather or the bad weather, maybe we want to call it, and how different it was to last year, and just everything to do with the environment, with climate change, with the way the world is going, with things we're being made more aware of, um, with how to look after the planet. And I thought we could maybe just write a little bit about that today. So we're going to do some writing techniques called automatic writing or unconscious writing, where you just kind of put your pen to paper and you just keep writing in response to something, which I will give you. We're going to put on a timer. So we're going to put on a 5-minute timer for this first one, where you're basically just going to non-stop write for 5 minutes, which I hope is okay. And if you get stuck, even if you just write, I'm not sure, dot, 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 and then just write about anything that comes to you with regards to this sentence. So the sentence we're going to respond to is, if you were to write a letter or send a message of kindness to the world/planet, what would you say? So if you were to write a letter or send a message of kindness to the world, what would you say? What would you tell it? Yeah, I'm going to put on a timer for 5 minutes and go. And that's the end. Don't forget to hear the timer. That's the end. So stop. Great. I wonder how that was. It's quite a huge topic and question, and I thought I'd give time to it. So we're going to move on to the next one now. So for the second question, I'll do a bit of a shorter timer just for time. And the question I'd like you to respond to is, what could we, this is also a huge question, what could we do better to look after the world, the planet, and each other? So this is quite a big question of, is there anything you can think of that we can do better to look after each other, look after the world, look after the environment, look after the planet? What could we do maybe as individuals, and what could we do in our policies, in our government, and just our day-to-day? It is quite a big thing, and it's not so easy, it's not so black and white, but, or, I mean, sometimes it is a bit black and white, but it's quite hard to do it as an individual. But yeah, let's try and respond to this. I'll give it a 2-minute timer, a bit shorter, but just rattle down. You could even do a list, you could just write words, anything you want. Okay, what could we do to better look after the world, planet, and each other? Go. Okay, that's time. That was a bit of a quicker one. Okay, time. Great, we're going to pop our pen and paper down to one side. We're going to not look at it. Maybe you can read it later, but I quite like just writing and not staring at it straight away, but giving it some time to just like let it all out and then look at it maybe another day or even later. Great, we're going to do just a really short pranayama, so breathing technique before we meditate. And this is kind of called, has different names. It could be the humming bee, or it could just be humming, or yeah, I guess there are many different names to it, but we're just going to hum. So we're going to inhale fully through the nose, exhale fully, inhale again, and then we're going to hum. For instance, like, just trying to hold that for as long as we can and feel the vibration as well. So I'll lead you through it. So we're going to inhale all together, exhale, inhale to prepare. And inhaling and exhaling. Just closing your eyes when you're ready, letting that go. And maybe just take a minute to notice how that humming maybe felt, the sensation. Maybe it felt weird, or maybe you loved it. There's no right or wrong. And while we're sat here with our eyes shut, we're just going to go through a few things together in our mind's eye. Like I've been talking about with the planet and looking after each other, it was all inspired by the weather was my starting point. We've experienced a lot of different weather in the past week, never mind year. And sitting here with your eyes shut, I invite you to imagine that it's actually a really sunny day, that the sun has come out to say hello. And I want you to imagine what it feels like to have the sun on your skin. How does it feel? Does it feel warm? Does it feel hot? Does it feel quite cool? Maybe there's a breeze. How does that sun feel on your skin? And where are you when you imagine the sun on your skin? Are you sitting in your room by a window? Are you outside? Maybe you're in the park or by the water or just walking around. Do you have any particular memories that come with imagining the sun on your skin? And you can take a moment to enjoy those memories and those images that are coming up. What sensations do you get when you imagine the sun? Or emotions does it make you feel? Joyful, reminiscent, happy, excited, maybe sad, maybe emotional? What sensations come over you when you're imagining the sun on your skin? And while you're sitting there enjoying the sun, I'm going to read out a short quote. In a world of constant change and streaming technology, I find solace in the forest, where a tree remains a tree. And that's by Angie Welland Crosby. And now we're going to take a big inhale and really enjoy that last bit of sun on our skin. And as we exhale, the sun is going to fade. And we're going to come back to the present moment. Inhaling, enjoying the sun. Exhaling, letting it fade. And slowly, in your own time, coming back to your space, coming back to your room, blinking your eyes open, coming back to the present moment. Maybe you want a stretch. Maybe you want to roll the shoulders out or roll the head. And we're going to come back to our pen and paper for one last time and just write down any words of reflection, any thoughts, any feelings, maybe any memories or sensations that came up in your meditation, anything at all. Great. And when you're done that, I just want to say thank you so much for coming. As always, thank yourself for coming. It's a lovely thing to do for yourself on a Tuesday morning. And yeah, like the video if you liked it. Maybe drop a comment if you have anything you want to say, any thoughts, feelings, feedback. You can always message me as well or Studio K. And I'm teaching Stretch and Relax tomorrow. So I'll see some of you there. And yeah, I have a short meditation on anxiety and kind of going back into the world that should be up in the on-demand section on the website. And if it's not, I will check that and get back to you. But I filmed that, so that should be there for you all. And there are plenty of meditations to catch up on if you ever need them. Thank you, Lee. I thought it was so lovely. Yeah, it would be so nice to meditate in the forest. I love just by my house. I live on the Thames, and there's like a little beach with just a lot of rocks, Bermondsey Beach, and me and my family like to go down there and just sometimes just sit with our eyes shut and just meditate down by the water, which feels really nice. A good way of doing that, if you're not sure about just sitting and meditating, is just being outside and noticing 5 sounds, not saying it out loud, but just noticing 5. And when you've noticed 5, just say done. And they have to be different sounds as well. And that's just a good thing to kind of take a moment outside and kind of detach. But yeah, I would love to meditate in a forest. I think that would be so nice. Thanks, Ewa. Thanks, Shona. And yeah, thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great week. I will see you all, some of you, tomorrow. And if not, I'll see you here next week. Bye, everyone. Okay, I'm going to end it there, but do message me if you have anything you want to let me know. I'll put the quote in the members zone. Bye.